That's what we came for.
So finding walleyes on ice, there's a reason there's a lot of videos on this, because it's a topic that's largely explored, but people doing the research aren't highly effective with it. So I'm gonna help you guys on where to find fish and what tools to use, especially walleyes, throughout the year. So number one, you wanna have your eyes wide open, and that is having the best possible map chip you can have. And now map chips aren't just shaded colors and 1 foot contours. Now they have things like Smart Strike that puts you on the spot. We have things like contours that just paint your map like Picasso. So all those depth changes are right there, from the tops of the rock piles to the bottom to the flats to whatever. So when we're talking walleye structure, we're not only talking weed lines, break lines, rock piles, and things like that. So I like break lines early on for walleye fishing. Break lines are one of the best things because they're super highways. Break lines are the walleyes follow them, and it gives them something to key in on to find those pockets of food. Now food is the other thing that's on those break lines. If a walleye swims long enough, he's gonna get a meal. So break lines are awesome. Mud flats are my absolute favorite. Mud flats for me come in late season when the bugs start to pop. That's where they live, and everything from a minnow to a walleye is gonna be out there feeding on bugs, perch, and any other bait fish that's out there eating those bugs. So remember, transitions and mud flats kind of go hand in hand when you have bugs going. Now rock piles are a mecca for just about everything. You have sculpins, perch, trout perch, shiners, all these different things will use rock piles. So rock piles, if your grandfather had a favorite rock pile, there's a reason for it. And that's because they're just absolutely dynamite, usually all winter long. All winter long, if you're in a 20, 25, 30 foot rock pile, walleyes will use it consistently, usually all winter long. Now, when we move into the mud flats, like long, expansive mud flats or sand flats, that is when your Mega Live and your Mega 360 comes in. You're drilling holes, you're looking for pods of fish, you're getting ahead of them, and you're targeting. So now your map chip's not just your map chip, it can be your fishing guide as well. And for new anglers, it's also gonna give you those starting points. So where I start looking for walleyes is where I left off in the fall, and that's usually that 8 to 15 feet. And in the fall, I'm using a jig and minnow. So I come back, obviously real quiet. During ice season, I target those same depths with spoons, and it's largely effective. Now, I just simply keep following those walleyes out. And you may say, well, there's a large expanse of 20 foot of water in between A and B. Where did those fish go? And the answer is, they just kind of slowly work out and they follow the food around. The walleyes are always following the food in the winter. They're not thinking about spawn, they're not doing anything but following food. So if you keep that in mind and then go into late ice, that is when the walleyes are gonna start regressing back into those shallow areas. And it's not for food. It's because they're going to spawn in about 45 to 65 days. And they're preparing for that. And you're gonna see the small males move in first, and then the females. So if you keep a few of these key things in mind, get yourself a Humminbird or a Lake Master VX chip, get metric at that shading, start looking at those Smart Strike locations, and then take a couple of pieces of this shallow to deep and skip it around with your chips, and mindful of where you're at. Like, follow those fish from deep to shallow and back and forth throughout the season, and you'll be a far more effective walleye angler.